Good afternoon. My name is Bernita Platt. I am a consultant with the Myrtle Beach Area Small Business Development Center. The Small Business Development Center provides no cost confidential consulting to new and existing small business owners. If there's anything that we can do for you, and we're talking specifically to you, Mr. Dillard, you are welcome to submit a request for assistance at our website. And you can see that website listed there, www.scsbdc.com. Today, you are in for a treat. We've got Ms. Angela Brewer, who is a business opportunity specialist with the SBA, and she's going to walk us through SBA Hub Zone veteran and service disabled veteran programs and talk about the ins and outs of those programs and how you can get involved. And with that, Ms. Brewer, it is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bernita. Let me get my presentation up. Good afternoon. As she stated, my name is Angela Brewer. I'm a business opportunity specialist for the South Carolina District Office of SBA. As a business opportunity specialist, I work with small businesses that are trying to get certified to work with the federal government. In previous weeks, we went over how to register. So if you're not registering SAM, System for Award Management, HubZone program, you cannot do. You have to be registered in SAM to do any federal contract work. The federal government has mandated 23% of all money spent has to go to small businesses. And the federal government spends, I would say, either close to or over $500 billion annually. And so they went a step further and broke that down, where 5% goes to woman-owned small business, 5% goes to 8A or small disadvantaged businesses, and then 3% goes to HubZone and service disabled veteran. Those are the two programs we will talk about today. And you like, that's not 23%, that's 16%. Well, you don't have to be under either one of these four preferential programs in order to work with the federal government. That other 7% that is left over from that 23% goes to small business. So if you're just a small business just starting out, you're not certified, which is Service Disabled Veteran is a self-certified program. But if you're not certified with either one of our four preferential programs, you can look for opportunities as a small business. So you can go that route. You don't have to be registered as a one of our preferential programs to get work with the federal government. The first thing we're going to talk about is HubZone certification. HubZone stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zones. So those areas that's low income, low jobless rate. When the census and how to determine HubZone, every 10 years we have a census. And so when the census, which we just had last year, when everyone sent in their report, the census determined which area is low income or a low jobless rate, and they declare that area is a HubZone. Then we look at capital. The HubZone give you access to capital investment. So when you're in a HubZone or a low income rate, income area, large business or investors come in and you can get them to invest in your business, and they offer economic leverage. So, you know, right now, SBA have the EIDL program for business that's in low income, economic depressed areas. So that's HubZone is beneficial in that area. So if you're in a HubZone area, your business automatically qualify for the EIDL. But if you're planning on applying for the EIDL loan, you need to go ahead right now. It ends the 31st. Which means if you have not applied so far, you need to apply before December 31st to get any opportunities there. Is HubZone appropriate for you? If you are in a HubZone, 51%, you have to own 50, the owner of the company have to be 51% owned. You can have a partner. We don't dispute that, but you have to, whoever's in the HubZone, the business, if you have a home-based business, which is fine. The person who's applying for HubZone, their home-based business must be in a HubZone, and you must own at least 51% of that business. Your partner have to be 49% on that business. Your business must be located in a HubZone. We have a HubZone map that I was just on a call. You have to put your entire address in that map, not just the street or not just the zip code, because I've gone to places where on the left side of the street is a hub zone, but directly across the street, less than 50 yards away or 50 feet away, it's not a hub zone. So you have to put in the entire address, especially here in Columbia or the larger cities, larger metropolitan area. That's when you have to put in the entire address. You can go places like Cheraw or the little small counties, Sumter and Manning, if you're here in South Carolina. And that whole county, Marlborough County, that's what I was trying to think of. That entire county might be considered a hub zone, but you still have to put your address in to determine if your address is in a hub zone. 35% of your employees are required to be in a hub zone. You ask a question, okay, how do I, hub zone is recertified every 5 years. So you ask the question, how can I keep 35% of my employees in the hub zone? Because I know, as you know, when people start getting job or employees get job and they do better, they move out of the area. Someone might come in on Monday, me and my family moved to this nice apartment. It may not be a hub zone. We always teach that your business is in. And because a hub zone, you only have to work 40 hours a month. Find college student. If you find a college student from it, depending on what you do, if you find a college student that resides or goes to a HBCU, that could be considered your 35% employee. So like I said, a college student working 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month, that's the only thing that is required to keep that hub zone. SBA size standard. If you've gone through my first 3 trainings, we talked about NAICS code. That's what SBA means by size standard. You have to be small according to SBA size standard, and the size standard is your NAICS code. There we go, NAICS code. You have to have your business must be small according to your NAICS code and SBA size standard. Exception for certain groups. The governor of South Carolina or the governor of any state, if your business, that he can declare if you have enough people in the area, not just you, that is trying to declare the business as as a hub zone, the governor can declare the area as a hub zone. And you do not have to be in business for a minimum time, because we have some programs like the 8A program where you have to be in business for 2 years. For the hub zone program, you don't have a limitation on how long you've been in business. You can be in business, start business this week, get your SAM registration, get registered in SAM, and you can apply for the hub zone application the day after you get registered in SAM. This is just breaking it down further. Like I say, ownership. In a hub zone, the owner of the company must own at least 51%, and he or she must be a U.S. citizen. Your principal office, so there's sometimes you have multiple offices, which is fine, but the office that has the majority of the employees and where the majority of the work, like some people have satellite office, the majority of the employees must work at the principal office, and that principal office must be in a hub zone. We talked about the 35% of the employees. We already know that 35% of your employees must reside in a hub zone. When you apply for hub zone, which is the application process, you have to send in your employees' lease or rental lease or mortgage, lease or mortgage agreement. You have to send a most recent utility bill, like in the last 60 days. And you have to send in a driver's license. Their driver's license must match their lease or their rental agreement or their mortgage paper. We talked about size, meaning you have to be small according to SBA guidelines. We have, you can go to sba.gov on the size standard, and it can tell you what your NAICS code, the size standard for your business is, and hub zone location. If you go to the hub zone map, I will put that link in the chat. I don't know if Susan hopped on yet. You can determine your size, you can determine if your business is a hub zone according to our map. You would get this presentation. Okay, the map is on this slide, so don't worry about putting it in the chat. You would get a copy of these slides. I will send it to Bernita and Sarah, and they can send these slides out to you. So you can just click on the hyperlink and you won't have to search it. If you're looking for opportunities for federal contracting, we have SCORE, we have WBC, we have SBDC, we have VBOC, and we currently have a PTAC here in South Carolina now that can help you with looking for opportunities, help you search for opportunities, and possibly help you read over your contract. I know I talk to a lot of people and I tell them that working with local and state government, writing proposals for those contracts is totally different on the federal government side. So make sure you read over all 300-400 pages, make sure you can do the job that they're asking for, because you don't want to get a report card saying that you didn't perform well on the job or the opportunities, because if you get a bad report card, all contracting officers has the access to look at their report card, and it's stand the risk of not getting opportunities anymore. Any questions so far?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. The HubZone application process. We have a general login service where you go to apply for HubZone. You have to get a login and password. You have to, well, if you're applying for HubZone, which means you already have a DUNS number and you're already registered in SAM, and hopefully you've already determined your NAICS code. The application is going to be located on SBA GLS login system. So you have to request access to the system, get a login and password, and you just select that you're applying for the HubZone, and they will grant you access. Verify requested documents. Like I say, the only documents that you're going to have to submit is your taxes and your lease agreement on the business, or your mortgage on your home if you have a home, because they want to look at your address, make sure the address is in a HubZone and you're actually still residing at that address. Updated SAM profile. SAM needs to be updated annually, because if you don't update SAM annually and you're going after opportunities, and when the contracting officer go in there to make sure you're in SAM, if your account is inactive, you run the risk of not getting an opportunity because you don't update SAM. You don't have to make any changes to SAM, but you need to click through annually. They will send you an email 60 days before your expiration date to make sure that you have your profile updated. So make sure you go through that annually or anytime you need to make changes to SAM. Supporting documentation for SAM. Sign up for HubZone program. You go to GLS. Your principal office must be in SAM. I talked about your business. Sometimes you have people who have, because I know I help manage the 8A portfolio for South Carolina. And some of our firms have offices in Georgia and in North Carolina because they do business in that area. But their primary office or principal office here in South Carolina is where majority of their employees must reside, must work out of. 35% of residency. I've already talked about the documentation that your employees must submit in order to be declared as a resident. So you have to do their driver's license, you have to have their lease agreement on their apartment or their mortgage from their home. Ownership and control. The one that is applying for HubZone certification, he or she must be the one that makes all the day-to-day decision for a HubZone or for HubZone application. So make sure you keep that in mind. And we do visits. Size and affiliation. We don't deal with affiliation, but we do deal with size standards. So we've talked about the term your NAICS code. Whenever you hear the federal government talking about size standards, they're looking at the NAICS code. What industry is your business in? So make sure, and you think of, if you haven't gone through my class before, I know I talked about this in the first class. Some people think, okay, I make a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million a year. That's great, because I wish I was making that amount. But when you're looking at size standards, say for instance, you're construction, you build buildings and commercial and industrial buildings, that NAICS code is $39.5 million for 5 years. So that in order to be considered small, you must make less than $39.5 million for an average of 5 years. So they add all your income up for 5 years and divide it by 5. So as long as you make less than that, you consider small. So all NAICS code are different. Not every NAICS code is the same. And if you fall, under the 336, which is which is construction, some of the NAICS code have the same dollar value. But when you're dealing with manufacturing, they talk about the amount of employees you have that works for you. like I spoke earlier, we do a recertification. So if you're in the HubZone program, it used to be 3 years. Last year, they changed it to 5. So every 5 years, you have to recertify. We do a pop-up where we used to. I think we're getting back out there next year. We do a pop-up visit to your office because we have gone to places where people who are applying or still getting HubZone contracts, but they're no longer in that HubZone area. That's why we do an unannounced pop-up visit when it's time for you to recertify, because we want to make sure that you're still in that area. And we've gone to offices where people are no longer there. They have moved on. They have moved out of that facility that they are still claiming HubZone. So we have to report back to the HubZone team. And if you are no longer in an area and you still receiving contracts or working on contracts under a HubZone and you're not there, you have to pay all that money back. There's a penalty for getting HubZone and you're not in the area. So we do pop-up visits. So if you see us show up and knock on your door, we're here to do a HubZone. That means you're here to be recertified, or if we show up and you're not there, we report. Because I know one of my coworkers had to report he went to a HubZone visit a few years ago where a contractor was still getting contracts, but the business had been shut down like it was about to be demolished. So it wasn't just shut down yesterday. It had been shut down for a good little while. So we have to report back to headquarters that if you're no longer in that HubZone area. Only thing you have to, if you move from one area to the next, just change your address on there. Service-disabled veteran. There's a VA, which is Vet B, and then SBA have the Service-Disabled Veteran Program. The VA, or the Veteran-Owned Small Business, is supposed to be moving over to SBA in 2022 or 2023. I think it's 2023. So SBA would be managing that program, but currently it's still with the VA. So you still have time. Certification is through the VA. The SBA Service-Disabled Veteran Program is a self-certified. So when you're going through SAM, if you are a service-disabled veteran, you have a 0 to 100% rating, you can check the box that you are a service-disabled veteran. In order to be SDVOSB, 51% of that business must be owned by that service-disabled veteran. And you must be the highest paid. It must be in a position of the highest paid. And you must have NAICS code. There's no specific NAICS code like the woman-owned small business. Only specific NAICS code fall under woman-owned. With the hubs, with the service-disabled veteran, there's no particular NAICS code. You just have to be small. And you must be the one that's managing that company. Getting the most out of your SDVOSB. Depending on what you do, the VA, like I stated, the VA, they give at least 95 to 97% of all their contracts to veteran or service-disabled veteran. You can go to, which is now called FBO. You can go to FBO, which used to be FBO, is now called SAM, is located under SAM. You can go to SAM and you can look for opportunities as a service-disabled veteran and get opportunities that way, or a veteran, because if you're a service-disabled veteran, you're automatically a veteran. So you can go to, because if you're a veteran, you're not automatically service-disabled veteran. So, but if you're SDV or SB, you're automatically a veteran, because you have to be a veteran or to be a service-disabled veteran. You can go to sam.gov. FBO is now located there. We are getting ready to implement it for those who have not used it before. There's a site called BidSpeed that we get our district office getting training on it in a couple of weeks. And we'll be using it, because I don't know if you all have used the new FBO or the new SAM system. I don't like it particularly, and some people, are having problems navigating it. But BidSpeed has a contract with SBA, so we'll be using, once we get trained up on it, we'll be doing more training with anyone that's interested in using BidSpeed. So that's coming. With SDVOSB, facilitate the development opportunities and increase growth potentials for joint ventures and mental protege. SBA, the district office no longer manage mental protege. That's gone through our headquarters. Joint ventures, anyone can do a joint venture. The only one that is monitored or managed are the 8A joint ventures. You can get a prime contract as a SDVOSB. But you can go to vetbiz.va.gov in order to register your business with the VA. In order to work with the VA, you have to be registered in VetBiz. You have to be on their list. anything in the chat for me so far? Anyone have any questions? I know I've covered a lot of stuff and I speak fast. So anything I need to go over again?
There aren't any questions in the chat box, Angela, and it looks like Susan has put a lot of great information for our participants today.
Okay, I was wondering who was putting stuff in the chat. Are you a small business? Like I stated, small businesses are determined by your NAICS code, your size standard. These are the business type that sole proprietor. A lot of people, as a sole proprietor, you don't have to register your business with the Secretary of State, get licensed, you can use your Social Security number, but you need a tax ID number to work with the federal government. You have to be registered, you have to be paying taxes on your business in order to register with the federal government. So as a sole proprietor, you don't have to have licenses for the state, but some city and county government, like local city, like here in Columbia, the city of Columbia and Richland County requires you to be registered in order to operate a business, whether it be an online service or food truck or whatever it is that you have. They require you to be registered with the state, with the city and county. If you go to SC Business One Stop, South Carolina Business One Stop, there it can tell you what city and county requires you to have business license in order to do business in that city and county. Not all of them required, but like I stated, here in Columbia, you have to have business license in order to be a vendor or do work here in the city of Columbia. And you must operate primary in the U.S. If you're interested in doing what is called exporting, we have an exporting arm of SBA. We have one of my coworkers, Frank Anderson. He's our exporting person for the state. So he can talk to you if you're interested in, or you think your business can do business outside of the United States. Please reach out to Frank or ask for information. We can give you Frank Anderson information, and he can assist you with getting your business into the exporting arena. Is just Mr. I can't think of his name now, that's on the chat only with are you into federal contracting already?
No, we're just getting started. So we're looking at federal contracting and possibly some joint ventures with these contracting.
Okay.
Government and the military. So I don't know if that's something that I would need to reach out to Mr. Anderson about.
So are you looking at doing exporting outside of the United States? What is it that you do, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, sure. We're offering mainly program management, consulting, type services. Obviously, right now we're at contract zero, but really just getting started. But logistics, program management, kind of opportunities is what we're looking for. So we're not necessarily manufacturing a good for export, but we would potentially be providing services overseas.
Have you determined your NAICS code yet? Well, NAICS code, you can have more than one, but have you determined your NAICS code yet?
We have not. There's several that we're looking at. Possibly will. Let's see, some of the ones that going up here. Some of the ones that we're considering would be like management consulting services, administrative management, general management consulting, then also some of the more like process, physical distribution, and logistics consulting, freight transportation arrangement, and then some of our overseas partners that we have that are ready to support us. Some of their primary NAICS codes right now are like facility support, construction, general warehousing, refrigerated warehousing, and food service. So we're kind of, I guess you could say, fleshing that out, as we speak. You really expect to get more fidelity on that in the next few weeks or month.
Okay, I'm trying to see if I can assist you with finding your NAICS code for program management.
Okay.
Because when I put program management in, I couldn't find anything, but when I put manage, management, it came up with several. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Do any of these look somewhat familiar or close to what you do?
Let's see here. I think some of the 541s that were up above.
What business management, that's something similar to what you do, because if you click on it, have you ever gone to the site before?
I've done some research, but I don't know if it was on this particular site or not. So let me annotate that site to make sure. It's census.gov
/NAICS, NAICS.
/NAICS. Okay. Yeah, so kind of more, you may be up above like materials management, services, transportation management.
So you're fading in and out?
Okay. Yeah, so like right around here, might be kind of where we're at. 541-614 is one that we're looking at. Logistics and integrated supply chain management. So yeah, we're in the ballpark, I think, here.
Okay. Here we go, general management right here. Have you looked at this one?
Yep, 541-611.
Yes.
That's one that we're considering. Yep. Administrative management and general management consulting services. So yeah, that's one. That may be a primary, maybe a best general management consulting services.
You don't just have to have one. When you're dealing with the federal government and going through SAM, you can put in as multiple NAICS code. You can put in as many. So if all the ones that we've gone over so far are NAICS code that you could perform, general management, the 614, if all these are ones that you can perform, please put them all in there. Facility management, data processing, whatever that you think you can do or you have the capabilities of doing, please include all the NAICS code, because if you find an opportunity and because sometimes it's broad, because I've looked at opportunities or solicitations, and you have to read in depth the details of what contracting officer are looking for, because they can put 541-611 and you see it stand for medical records, personnel, all that. That's like HR in the military and the Army. So that's similar to an HR specialist. So yeah. I'm proud service and I was HR. So all this right here.
I understand.
What was that?
I've got a prior service as well, so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so make sure you include all these NAICS code that you think you can perform. You don't have to just narrow it down to one. You can have multiple NAICS codes. So make sure you include all. So when you're looking for opportunities, you can broaden your your avenue. You don't have to just be stuck to one.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and one thing, my partner, he just came back to the States. He's over in Dubai. He's going to be here for the month of December, so I expect to get linked up with him, this week. And we're going to DC in a couple of weeks, on the 13th, and then also to Dallas to meet with some, prime contractors. And so part of some of my logic and kind of holding out the NAICS code determination, and see if this may be a good way to kind of back into it,
You faded again. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, a way to maybe kind of back into it as well is, we're going to go and meet with some of these, prime contractors and their representatives, and if they have some opportunities coming down the pipe for a good fit.
So you're looking for subcontracting opportunities?
Right. Yeah.
SBA has a website called Subnet. I can't remember if it's on this presentation. I have to send the link to Subnet to Sarah and Bernita so they can send it out, because when large businesses across the country are looking for subcontractors, they put it on Subnet.
Okay.
And you can look for Subnet for anything that's under your particular NAICS code, and they can, and Sarah or Bernita, whoever sending these slides out, can send you the link to Subnet where you can look for opportunities there.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful as well.
Have you ever been a prime contractor?
I've worked for a prime contractor in the past, yes.
Okay. So you are familiar with writing federal contracts, or you just been on the state, local, or private sector side?
Federal. And my expertise is more on the federal side, not really exposed to the state or local.
Okay, so you've been doing. How long have you been doing federal work?
Well, I did it for 6 or 7 years, but about 5 years ago. So I'm kind of dusting off the cobwebs, if you will. I've been in the private sector for the past 5 years, and my partner came to me with this opportunity I couldn't turn down. So now I'm dusting off the federal contracting cobwebs a bit, but I did it primarily from 2010 to 2016.
Okay, that's good. Well, if you I think you stated you're interested in exporting. Susan, can you have you put Frank's contact information in the chat so he can reach out to Frank Anderson about exporting opportunities, and he can get because I think Beth is still with SBDC also, and she have a wealth of knowledge. She's our export guru for the state. She works for SBDC. Okay, thank you. Beth or Frank, either one of them can assist you with exporting, get you suited for exporting.
Okay.
Do you have
in the chat yet?
Their question?
I just haven't seen that come across in the chat yet, if I'm missing it.
Okay.
It is a little further up. I just put a message in the chat, and it's right above Susan's last message. It's got his cell phone number as well as his email address and his office phone.
Thank you both.
I'm not seeing it. Weird.
I'll copy and paste and add it again.
Okay.
Put Beth information. Do you all have Beth?
I do. I'll have to find it. Sarah, if you have it more readily available, you're welcome to put that in.
Do you have adequate cash flow to finance the government contract? When dealing with the federal government, you don't get paid up front often. Not saying at all, but often. You have to have cash flow. You have to have a line of credit that you can get to if you get a federal contract, because federal contracting deal on a, I think it's called a net 30 or net 60. So you bill or you do an invoice, they come out and inspect, and then they pay you. So it's called net 30 or net 60, net 45, something like that. It depends on what you put in your contract. So do you have adequate cash flow? Do you have character? Like I stated earlier, SBA or the federal government has a database called NIP, I think it's the SIPR. I can't think of which acronym to use, but it's a report carding system that they use. So if you're doing good or you reporting the work on time, that's why I always tell clients who are interested in JV. So if you're doing a JV, please work with them before you do a JV or before you do a mentor protege, because if you've never worked with them and you go on a contract with them and you don't know how they perform, you don't know their performance history, do they show up on time? Do they pay their employees? Because if you get a job and if you're a prime contractor and you hire them to do a job with you and their employees don't show up and you still left, so say for instance, you're a construction worker, that's what I know, but you hire them to do the HVAC or the plumbing or the electrical work, you have no one that can do that, you're relying on them and they don't show up. When you're doing a job, they're going to hold you to the timeline. You have to do a timeline when you're going to submit. And if you're not able to perform, although you have a subcontractor, the contract is with you. So that is going to affect your character, not the subcontractors. It's going to affect your character if you cannot perform or get the job done on time. You don't have to have the entire thing done, but say for instance, you're getting ready to lay the foundation, you need to put the electrical work, you need to do the plumbing, get all that in the system before you lay concrete. You only give a time that you give yourself a week and a half. You have to take an account for, depending on where you are, you have to take an account for the weather. It could rain, it probably get cold and the ground freezes. So if you can't perform and the contracting officer comes out to inspect because you're supposed to have it done by Friday, and here it is Monday, you don't have it done, they're going to say you're going to have poor job performance. They're not going to hold the subcontractor accountable. They're going to hold the actual prime contractor accountable, and they're going to put that on your report card. So you don't want your report card to state that you're not performing as promised, because at that time, you are not going to get another contract. No one wants you to get on you You hold, because when you hold up a job, you're accruing more money. Like I stated, by cash flow, I always tell clients when they ask, always, if you don't have readily cash available, always seek a line of credit before you need the money. Because if you get a contract that starts Friday and you go today to get a loan, you're not going to get a loan by Friday unless it's a payday loan or something like that. So make sure you always, if you get a line of credit, you don't have to have it or use it when you get it. You can use it at any time, but as long as you have a line of credit that you can use it when you need it. You don't want to need it and don't have it, because it can take sometimes 90 to 60 days. 90 to 6 months, 90 days to 6 months in order for a loan to get approved, depending on, because you have to get your business plan, you have to get your taxes, you have to get your P&L, your profit and loss, and your balance sheet. And they need a 1 year and 2 year cash flow projection on what you're doing. So banks is not going to approve a real loan in 1 or 2 days. So please, if you're looking for a line of credit, please do that now while you don't need it. I know with SBA loans, anything over $25,000 require a collateral. So we have a few loan programs. We have the micro loan, which is $50,000 or less. We have the express loan, which is $350,000. And then we have the 504 and the 7A loan, which is $5 million or less. So you could ask for an SBA loan. SBA will back 75 to 80% of that loan, depending on how much you get. Like I said, anything that's over $25,000 is going to require collateral. Do you have the capitals? Do you have liquid holding? Do you have money on hand? Do you have anything in your savings account or your business account that's liquid or capitalization? Are you outside conditions that will affect your ability to repay loans? So I know in business plan, they always ask for a successor, and a lot of people don't understand what a successor is. So say for a successor is anyone that can do the job, continue that contract in your absence, whether you have a car accident, you could get hurt on the job, or God forbid, you die. Someone that contract still have to be fulfilled. So they always ask for a successor, someone you trust that can continue that contract if you are incapable of doing it yourself. Is your business ready to do contract? Does the government buy what you sell? The federal government do not buy a lot of things, but they do not buy some things, but they do buy a lot. We have a website called USA Spending and the FPDS, Federal Procurement Data System. Anything that the federal government has bought over the last 10 years, any contracts that they have done over the last 10 years will be in FPDS or in USA Spending. So if you're not sure if the federal government is buying what you're selling, I will ask you, I encourage you to go to USA Spending or FPDS.gov. Both of them are .gov, and look and put your NAICS code in there and see who bought it the last time which federal entity bought it the last time it was being sold. And if it's something that you do, I will encourage you to do a capability brief. Reach out to the contractor or the small business person for that agency and do a capability brief. They will. I know I sent out an email today. I know GSA, the 4th Region 4, is doing a capability brief to anyone who wants to attend. If you want to work with GSA, you don't have to be on the GSA schedule, but you can work with GSA, and they're doing a capability brief right now on the 8th. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me and I will send you the link, because it's open to the public, but you have to be registered in SAM in order to work with any federal agency. Are you capable of fulfilling a government contract? Not only are you have the money to do it, but do you have the capability? Do you have the staff? Do you have the subcontractors in place? Do you have the material? Do you have access to get the material? Do you have everything that is needed to fulfill the contract? Because if you sign a contract and you state that you're going to start working Monday, which is the 6th, they're going to expect you to be on the job Monday, not saying that you didn't have anyone show up or the person who's supposed to be doing it didn't come to work today. They're going to hold you responsible. And if you can't perform or you're not there, believe me, they're going to put that on your report card. And that's the last thing that you want. So before you sign that contract, make sure you have everything. And like people say, all your ducks in a row. So when you get ready, when you sign that contract and they expect you to start working on Monday, you can go out there. When dealing with the federal government, I didn't mention this. The federal government requires sometimes you have to go on installation, like in our building. We work in the federal building downtown. In order to work there, you have to do a background check. So I will encourage you to do a SLED check. I think SLED is $25. So if you have a person that you are trying to bring on that might have a shady or a background, do a $25 SLED check, because they go in there and do a check and that person can't get in the building, can't work in the building. I mean, you can't do your job if you don't have the people that you need. So do a background check and save yourself so you can move on to the next person that needs be. I went over a lot of information, and I don't think there are any questions, or are there any questions in the chat?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Since no one have any questions, no one have any comments, this is our contact information. I'm one of 3 BOS here in the South Carolina District Office. We have Carl Faison and Stephanie Workman, who are BOSs, and we have Mike Corp, who is our Deputy District Director, but all 3 of them have background in federal contract. I know enough to make me dangerous, but if you can't get them and you have federal contracting questions or questions about federal contracts, you can reach out to me, because I can reach out to them. If there's an answer that I can't get or don't know, I can reach out to them and get that answer for you.
Angela, do you want to mention that we're in the works for our matchmaker at our salute this year?
Go ahead. Do I need to go to do you have a list of all the award that they're doing?
I'm not sure if Savannah's put it up yet, but we're trying to plan our salute to small business that we've had to do virtually and not at all the past couple of years. And we also include a matchmaker. How many procurement and different agencies do you usually have, Angela?
I have over 50.
So you have an opportunity to meet one-on-one with 50 different agencies. Anything you want to add to that on the matchmaker?
No, I know we'll be doing awards. We've gone back to doing awards. I don't think we did it this past year because I'm going to get ready to share my screen. I found the website. Learn more. Here's a list of all. If you go to sba.gov/NSBW for National Small Business Week, it'll take you to a list of awards that you can actually nominate yourself for. You don't have to get nominated, but the SBDC score, the Women's Business Center, can actually nominate you for that award, or you can do a self-nomination. And if you click on the hyperlink that's listed in here, it'll tell you the details of the award, give the application that's on there. So if you're interested in the SBA National Small Business Week, it's going to be the first week in May. I think the first Wednesday is the 3rd or the 4th. We're planning on doing our matchmaker event. We're getting back out there. Come January, we're supposed to be back out there doing a little traveling. So we will more than likely be doing our in-person Small Business Week this year. We haven't done it over the last 2 years. Excuse me, thank you to the pandemic who has sidelined us for a while. God, I'd be glad to get back out there. But if you're interested in nominating your self-nomination, or we also have local. We haven't gotten our local one yet. Our PIO person, Savannah, hadn't done the local because that's the one just for the state nomination. This is a national level, but we will have local. Is it on here?
I don't think it'll be on there, but it might be on our sba.gov/South Carolina.
Okay, it's not on there yet.
It should be on there by tomorrow, all of our awards, and it's a good way to get publicity for yourself and your business.
Yes. So please come out. I mean, this opportunity, instead of driving around South Carolina, because normally we have Boeing, we have BMW, we have just about every federal agency here in South Carolina. I know we've had Georgia, some people from Georgia. We had GSA from North Carolina, GSA from Georgia, Fort Jackson, Shaw Air Force Base. So if you're interested in federal procurement, this is the time. I think it's typically about $20, $25 to register for the matchmaking event, where you spend $20, $25 depending on where you're coming from versus driving all over the state and spending hundreds of dollars because gas is really going up. So instead of spending hundreds of dollars on driving around the state, this will be the opportunity for you to come to one place and get a chance to see a chance to do a 10-minute matchmaking, which is a speed dating round with the contracting officer that you wish to meet with. You only get to sign up for maybe, I think it's 5, but because things move so quickly, you still get a chance to meet with anyone that you want. We have a lot of local, state, and just like I said, just about every federal agency, private sector. So please stay tuned. Watch our website. It should be coming out by hopefully by Friday, not by Friday, by the end of by next week before the holidays, because the award is due by January the 16th, January the 11th. I'm sorry. If you're interested, the awards are due by January the 11th. So they give you a little over 5 weeks.
Angela, what is the form that they use when they're meeting one-on-one with the procurement agencies?
I can't think.
Well, I was going to tell them, I forgot the name of it, to work with their resource partners like the Small Business Development Center, Women's Business Center SCORE, to make sure, you get that one first impression. I don't know the name of the form. Is it a confidence? What is the lease and contract team to tell them all about their business?
Oh, a capability brief, capability
Yes.
statement. Yeah, capability statement. That's what you need, a capability statement enough for at least 50 people, and business cards for enough for at least 50 people.
Okay. And when is this? And where?
We're shooting for the first week in May. And it's normally typically the first Wednesday in May is when the matchmaking. It starts around 9 or 10 o'clock. And after the matchmaker, we have a luncheon where all the awards are presented. The state awards are presented. Right now, we don't have a definite date. We're working on the date, but we typically have it the first week in May. So it will, and then it's Small Business Week. It's the first week in May, and we have it during Small Business Week. It's going to be at the Colonial Life Arena here in Columbia.
Conference Center.
I was wrong. The Metropolitan Center.
We're shooting for May the 4th, but we'll have a confirmed date by next week. So it should be, we'll send out news releases and it'll be on our website. So in the next week or two, we'll have definite information on it.
Okay. I'll just be on the lookout for the news release then.
Yeah, I will be sending out fillers to our contracting or procurement agency, small business person, and see who's going to participate. So I'll be compiling a list over the next few months. Right now, I'm just trying to wait on a date before I send out an email to see who wants to participate. But we have a good show. We have quite a few people here. So it'll be a great opportunity for whoever wants to attend to meet and do a matchmaking with whoever show up.
Okay.
Thank you, Susan, for reminding me of that. Well, Bernita and Sarah, I have nothing else. Does no one have any more questions for me or have any more comments? Thank you all for participating. This was the last phase of a 4-part series on federal contracting. It was great, and I look forward to doing more training with you.
Thank you so much, Angela. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you all for your participation today. You will receive after this seminar a brief survey. So if you will take a few moments to complete that survey. Thank you so much, you all, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.